26 years in London, and the shocking truth. The surprisingly poor British. When I first arrived in the UK, the thing that surprised us the most was how poor British people seemed. We saw terraced houses that were over 100 years old, clothes that were out of fashion, and the cost of living was eye-wateringly expensive. It wasn't uncommon to find houses that didn't even have a shower. On our first night, we stayed at a bed and breakfast that was, quite frankly, a flimsy shack with the wind whistling through the window frames. The shock of that old house stayed with us for a long time. That night we spent a long time thinking, are we even in the right country? And how are we ever going to live in a place so expensive and so poor? The friend who met us at the airport had already been studying in the UK for 3 years. He left us in that cold B&B room saying something cryptic like, life in the UK will be difficult at first, but you'll come to love it the longer you stay. He could see our disappointment, but what did he mean by difficult? And what was there to love? Even after we got used to life here, British people's lives remained a mystery. It was so unexpected to encounter their frugal lives, especially after living in Seoul, a city where you have an abundance of everything from food and energy to household goods. I mean, isn't the UK a developed country? We were taught in school that countries like the US, UK, France, and Germany were developed nations. But Korea is a leading developed country following in their footsteps. So why were the people of a country with the world's fourth largest economy so seemingly poor? This puzzle, this enigma, fueled my curiosity about the UK throughout my time here. The two faces of the Briton, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Let me be clear right from the start. I've lived in London for 26 years, and I'm a Londoner. I love the UK as much as I love my home country, Korea, and I live here now because I want to. Everything I'm about to tell you is from the perspective of how I felt, and what I observed when I first arrived in 1999. There were good things, but there were also some not-so-good things. Just keep that in mind as you listen to my story. British people have two faces, and they're as contradictory as the characters in Robert Louis Stevenson's novel, The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. In the book, the gentle scientist Dr. Jekyll transforms into the murderous Mr. Hyde at night, prowling the foggy streets for new victims. The more I got to know British people, the more I saw Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde in them. It's as if they have this inherent duality. The face they show to the world is, of course, Dr. Jekyll's. Mr. Hyde's face is usually hard to find. British people are polite. They follow public order, and they're generally calm and reserved. They can come across as a bit standoffish with strangers due to their shyness. Most visitors to the UK will have seen this side of them on the streets, in the tube, on buses, in theatres, shops, and museums. They have a gentle way of speaking. They'll say sorry for the slightest brush of a shoulder. I've seen a young man offer to help a female student with a heavy bag, unlike young men in Italy, who might use it as an excuse to flirt. A gentleman holding a door for the person behind them. A grandmother asking a tourist with a map, "Are you lost? Can I help you find something?" A bus driver helping a mother get her pram onto the bus. The examples are endless. Tourists, especially Koreans who are used to the hustle and bustle of big cities, are often deeply impressed by the calm and kind nature of British people. But is that really the whole story? I can't say a definite no. It would be a shame to ruin the charm of a holiday with too much detail. And for the most part, the politeness British people show is genuine. Their kindness comes from the heart. They don't usually exaggerate their friendliness. Just because someone is a tourist or a foreigner, they're especially kind to the vulnerable, like women, the elderly, children, and people with disabilities. That is, until their other side is revealed. So what is this hidden face? The hidden side of the British was broadcast for the whole world to see during the 1998 World Cup in France. Even before the tournament began, the British government was incredibly worried. They were concerned about the notorious English football hooligans, who are infamous for traveling around the world causing mayhem and destroying property. This wasn't just any match, it was the World Cup, watched by billions of people. What a national disgrace it would be if the hooligans caused trouble. The host country, France, is right next door to the UK, just across the English Channel. You can leave London in the morning and have lunch in Paris. So the government made careful preparations, compiling a list of known hooligans and banning them from leaving the country. It was all for nothing. The hooligans found all sorts of ways to get to Marseille, the host city for the matches. They disguised themselves, forged passports, or simply went to France early. The first match between England and Tunisia turned into utter chaos, with hooligans fighting and brawling. You might think they were upset because England lost, but that wasn't the case at all. England actually won 2-1, but the hooligans couldn't care less about the result. They smashed shop windows, swung metal bars, and threw broken paving stones at Tunisians and innocent bystanders. French police were called in, and a full-blown street battle broke out in the streets of Marseille. After the riot, the British hooligans were arrested, tied up, and deported. The Prime Minister at the time, Tony Blair, had to make a special appearance on French television. He promised that something like this would never happen again. But not many people believed him. Whenever there's an English football match, hooligans will probably show up, ready to display their newest combat skills and engage in savage fights. This is the hidden face of the British, the face of Mr. Hyde. This terrifying aggressiveness is buried somewhere inside the seemingly calm British person. Hooligans aren't just thugs or delinquents in their everyday lives. They are hard-working, family-oriented, and otherwise normal British people. Some might say it's because they just love football too much. But the hooligans who fought in the Marseille street battle were people who, for the most part, never even made it into the stadium. They were just using the football match as an excuse to let off steam by fighting and destroying things. No, they were letting out the primal savagery that was lying dormant in their nature. So if their polite and reserved side is their true nature, then it's a learned behavior they've acquired over more than 1,000 years. On the other hand, the hooligans' rampage shows a nature that the British have had since ancient times. So if you were to ask me which of these two natures is the real one, I'd have to say it's the Mr. Hyde side. To be continued in the next episode.